I've had God sit there and tell me, Jason, I'm going to give you a new job. Got out of prison. Going to give me a job. I went to I applied everywhere. And about the 5th or 6th, 7th question, are you a felon? I got to where I was wanting to lie. Can I talk to somebody? Randy, I said, I done filled out 37, applied 37 times. This ain't 1, 2, 3 strikes, Jesus. They all don't like me. They all say no. You forgive me, but they don't forget. Jesus, I think I'm going to lie. Forgive me. No, I never did nothing. I ain't never committed no crime. Dang it, Lord. You know they ain't going to hire me. You the one making me do this, and that's why I ain't going to get this job. I erased it. And I wrote the truth. And I took it in that job. I'm going to close, I promise. And I handed it to that boss man. And he looked at that thing, Justin, and he looked at it and said, we ain't hiring right now. My brother just told me they was hiring. They got a big sign out front that says hiring. And I gave the man the piece of paper, and he looked at it and said, well, hallelujah. We ain't hiring right now, but Randy, what we gonna do, Randy? We're gonna call you after Christmas. I said, man, I don't need a job after Christmas. I need a job for Christmas. I said, why don't you just tell me you didn't want to hire me because you knew I was a felon? I said, brother, Jesus done forgive me, and I'm leaving this stupid place. And I walked out that door. I got my car, and boy, I unloaded on Jesus. Where the hell are you at? Shoo. Christmas is here. My wife is depending on me. We're about to lose everything. And you got all power. I heard what you said, but I don't see it. Shoo. Mikey, I pulled up out of there, Duck Leffert. That's who I was talking to. And I pulled up out of that car and I was crying. He come to my door and he said, roll down your window. I don't know why, but I need you to come in this building. I rolled up that window and said, I know why. The same place that wouldn't want to hire me, the man looked at me and said, I don't know. And I told him, I said, I know why you called me in here. He said, you do? But tell me. I said, my daddy has the heart of a king, and he turned your heart to give me a chance. And Doug said, you think so? I said, I know so. Same conversation. You can't make this stuff up. I just been released from prison. He said, well, the good thing you got going for you is that you got a driver's license. I didn't have a stitch of driver's license. And he said, I need a copy of your license. That's going to help you get this job. Oh, God. And I said, Duck, I said, Mr. Leffert, that's what I said. Mr. Leffert, if you're watching Hallelujah one day, I said, I don't have no license. He said, didn't I just see you driving a car? I said, yes, sir. I need a job. He said, and I said, man, I heard you didn't need no license and that they pulled you over. He said, so you gonna take that ride every day to work? And I said, yes, sir. He said, can you pass a drug test? I said, oh yeah, I got that. I got that. And he said, well, I gotta have some kind of an ID. Here we go. Only ID I had in my pocket, church, was a prison ID. And he said, I gotta have an ID or I can't hire you. I said, well, I got an ID too. He said, well, let me see it. I pulled my ID out of my pocket and I handed it to him and he picked it up and he went, boy, this is getting good. It says you was released yesterday? Yes, sir. The man said, just give me a minute, okay? Let me process this. He walked down the hallway. I'm telling you all this for a reason. He walked down that hallway and he came back in there and he walked in there and he said, son, you know what? I don't even care. The papers are still coming out my dadgum printer of your police report. I said, yeah, I've been in the thing at 3. I said, but I ain't that man no more, man. He said, you know what? I don't care what you did. And he reached over there to the copy machine and he threw everything in that paper, all of it in the trash. He said, what I care is what you're going to do from here on out. I stayed at that job for 10 years, church. Convicted felon that wasn't never supposed to have no job, all those things because I heard a sound from my brother that said, come. And when I got there, it was impossible. But all things are possible with our daddy. He'll give you a promise. You listen to me. He's going to give you a promise. And understand, obstacles are going to come. There'll be times you think nobody sees you. There'll be times you think nobody likes you. There'll be times that you think that you're in this all by yourself. And that God is 1,000,000 miles away. Teacher's always quiet during the test. I don't know who I'm talking to in this church. God has been trying to give you a sound. He has more